She said, "If you really loved me, you'd trust me." I did. Until her tablet synced with my account. One photo album was titled Adventures with Him. The thumbnail was them kissing in front of our apartment. I sent it to her with a message. I deleted all the trust. Kept the memories. I met Sarah at a local community event in Austin, Texas. She was vibrant, full of life, and had a smile that could light up a room. We started talking, and before I knew it, we were spending every weekend together. Our favorite spot was Zilker Park, where we'd have picnics and watch the sunset. After a year of dating, we decided to move in together. We found a cozy apartment near South Congress Avenue. Life was good. We shared everything, our dreams, our fears, and even our digital lives. We had a shared cloud account to sync our devices, making it easier to share photos and documents. One evening, while we were watching a movie, Sarah received a message on her tablet. She quickly dismissed it, but I noticed a flicker of anxiety in her eyes. I asked if everything was okay, and she replied, "If you really loved me, you'd trust me." I nodded, not wanting to seem insecure. Trust was the foundation of our relationship, or so I thought. A few weeks later, I was organizing our shared cloud storage, trying to free up some space. That's when I noticed a new photo album titled Adventures with Him. Curious, I opened it. My heart sank. The thumbnail was a picture of Sarah kissing another man in front of our apartment. There were dozens of photos, them at Barton Springs, dining at our favorite restaurants, even lounging on our couch. I felt a mix of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I decided to confront her. I sent her the photo with a message. I deleted all the trust, kept the memories. She replied, begging for forgiveness, claiming it was a mistake, that it didn't mean anything. But the evidence was clear. She had been living a double life, right under my nose. I wasn't one for revenge, but I couldn't let this go. I gathered all the photos and compiled them into a slideshow. I sent it to her family and friends, exposing her betrayal. I also shared the story anonymously on local forums, warning others to be cautious. It wasn't about shaming her. It was about finding closure for myself. After the dust settled, I moved out of the apartment and started fresh. I focused on my hobbies, reconnected with old friends, and even started therapy. It wasn't easy, but with time, I healed. About 3 weeks after I moved out, I got an unexpected message from a number I didn't recognize. It just said, "Hey man, I didn't know she was living with someone. I'm sorry." No name, no context, but I knew exactly who it was. This guy, him, from the photo album, was reaching out. He had no idea I even existed. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "You kissed her in front of my apartment." That was our couch. Our dog. He responded almost immediately. I swear she said she was single. She told me her ex still helped with bills, so she let him crash sometimes. I didn't know. My stomach turned. I didn't respond again. I didn't need more from him. But it got me thinking, what if I wasn't the only one she lied to? Curiosity got the best of me. I started going back through old photos, messages, receipts, anything that might give me a clearer picture. That's when I found an old group photo from a charity event we attended. In the back corner, Sarah was talking to another man. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but now it stood out. I zoomed in. Same guy from the Adventures with Him album. Only problem? That picture was taken 6 months before we moved in together. She hadn't met him recently. She'd been juggling US for at least a year. One rainy evening, there was a knock on my door. I opened it and nearly dropped my drink. It was his mother. "I'm sorry to show up like this," she said, "but I needed to meet the man who had the decency to tell the truth." She told me Sarah had spun lies about me, about her son, about everything. When the truth came out, he fell into depression. She'd been asking him for money, saying it was for emergency rent or vet bills for a dog that wasn't even hers. I stood there silent. All I could do was nod. Before she left, she handed me a folded note. "He wanted you to have this," she said. It read, "I hope you find someone real. Someone who means it when they say I love you." I should have known better. I just didn't want to believe she was capable of lying to both of us. That broke me. For days, I couldn't sleep. I kept playing every moment over and over. Not just my pain, but the weight of someone else's, too. A month later, I got an email from a woman named Denise. She found my post online. She said she didn't know if it was the same Sarah, but the photo matched. She'd met her at a yoga retreat in Sedona. Same pattern. Sarah said she was a life coach, and had told Denise she just ended things with a toxic boyfriend. Claimed he was stalking her online. Denise ended up giving her $2,000 to help with legal fees. I asked Denise to send me everything. She did. I was staring at a full-blown scammer. That's when I knew what I had to do. This wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. This was about justice. And maybe something a little darker. I had a friend who worked in IT. We set up a bait profile, a believable, successful man with a soft side. The kind Sarah would go for. We used real photos with permission, real hobbies, real conversation. Sure enough, Sarah bit. She messaged Tom within a week. Tom played along. Said he was a widower. Said he'd never felt anything like what he was feeling with her, even though they hadn't met yet. She sent back selfies. Flirty texts. Then the ask. Can you help me with something urgent? Boom. We had her script. My IT friend traced the IP. Same apartment. Same neighborhood in Austin. She hadn't even moved. That's when we decided to expose her. We waited. Let Tom keep talking to her. Let her feel like she had a new catch. Then, just when she seemed hooked, Tom promised to wire her $5,000 to help with court costs from his late wife's estate. Classic bait. We mailed her a fake check. A realistic-looking one. She messaged Tom, saying thank you, and immediately texted a friend. We got screenshots later that she was finally getting out of this dump. She even started listing furniture on Facebook Marketplace. That's when I realized she thought she was in control again. But then the check bounced. Hard. The day after the check bounced, Sarah posted a long, dramatic story on Instagram full of crying selfies, cryptic quotes about men being trash, and how she was being scammed. A few of her friends rallied around her. That same day, I got a voicemail from a detective in the Austin PD. He said, I understand you've been tracking someone online. We need to talk. It's regarding a report of fraud and cyber harassment. Sarah had reported me. I met with the detective, showed him everything. Our old shared accounts, the synced tablet photos, the messages from other victims, the conversation logs with Tom, even her own selfies sent to Tom. He listened, then said something that made my blood run cold. We've had 3 other reports on her in the past 2 years. One guy tried to press charges. She flipped it on him, said he was stalking her, claimed abuse, got a restraining order. We couldn't prove otherwise. She wasn't just a liar. She was practiced, weaponized the system. And now, she was trying to do it to me. After that meeting, I did something I wasn't sure I should. I reached out to that guy, the one who tried to press charges. His name was Marcus. We met at a diner. He looked like hell. Said he lost his job, got put on probation, and was still in debt from the mess she created. But he had screenshots, voicemails, one even where she screamed, if you talk, I'll ruin your life. No one will believe you. I'll cry and they'll all believe me. I offered him a deal. Help me build a case, and I'll take it all public. He agreed. I had a friend in media. We pitched it as a story, the woman who played the system. Names changed. Faces blurred. But the details were raw. Real. We interviewed Marcus. Denise. Even the mom of the guy from the Adventures with Him album. The episode blew up. Hundreds of thousands of streams in a week. Reddit threads exploded. People started sharing their own stories. A few sounded way too familiar. Sarah wasn't unique. She was part of something bigger. Then, she vanished. No posts. No messages. Apartment empty. Facebook deleted. I don't know if she fled, or if someone warned her. But the detective called me 2 weeks later. We got a warrant to dig into her accounts. What we found, it's bad. Multiple aliases. Bank transfers under fake names. 2 flagged passports. Sarah wasn't just a manipulator. She was a full-blown fraud artist. And now, the FBI was involved. One morning, a plain manila envelope was slipped under my apartment door. No return address. Inside was a single photo. It was a photo of me, from behind, walking out of my building, dated 3 days earlier. And on the back, written in marker, trust is dead. You should have learned that by now. That photo she left, it shook me. I didn't sleep that night. I started checking windows twice, looking over my shoulder, carrying pepper spray. I'd never felt scared like that before. The podcast host offered to help me relocate temporarily. I stayed at his cousin's place outside San Antonio, off-grid, no digital trace. I needed space to think, to breathe, to figure out my next move. Because one thing was clear, Sarah was still playing a game. And I needed to be the one to end it. We set up one final bait. This time, Not with a fake profile, but with Marcus. He sent her a real apology. Said he regretted talking to the podcast. Said he had something she left behind at his place. An old hard drive. We guessed right. That hard drive had emails, names, real identities, fake info. If she wanted anything erased before the feds could use it, she had to get to it. She agreed to meet him at a motel on the edge of town. Classic move. But what she didn't know, we were there too. So was the detective. So were 2 federal agents. She walked in like she owned the place. High boots, dark sunglasses, no expression. She greeted Marcus like nothing had ever happened. He handed her the hard drive. She slipped it into her bag. Then the room filled with badges and flashlights. Sarah Green, you're under arrest for fraud, wire theft, and identity falsification. She didn't scream, didn't cry. She just smiled and whispered to me as they cuffed her, "You could have had it all with me, but you're just another boring man with feelings." Her trial dragged on for months. Turns out, Sarah had run scams in 5 states, under 3 names. She'd swindled over $400,000 over 8 years. From lonely men, kind women, older folks with soft hearts. Some of them had never recovered. Marcus testified. So did I. When they asked me why I did it, I said, because I believed in her. And she weaponized it. I needed to make sure no one else gave her the trust one did. She got 15 years. But here's the part most people don't talk about. I wasn't perfect either. I ignored red flags. I brushed off signs. I let love become blind trust. I put my peace in someone else's hands. And when it broke, I let hate run my life for too long. Revenge didn't fix me. It just showed me how much damage I'd let her do. A year after the trial, I got one final letter. From Sarah, mailed from prison. I never loved you. I just loved the way you looked at me. Like I was someone worth saving. No one's ever looked at me that way before. That's why I had to ruin it. I didn't respond. I burned the letter in the same fireplace we used to sit by. And as the flames rose, I said out loud, "You were right about one thing. Trust is dead. But so is your game."